The application form should have been ordinary. Just another piece of paper in a stack of hundreds. But the moment the Billionaire CEO saw the name written across the top, her hand stopped moving. Her eyes widened. The room went silent. For a few seconds, she stared at the page as if she had seen a ghost from another lifetime. The applicant was not seeking a management position, an executive role, or even an office job. He was applying to be a janitor. Yet the name on that paper carried a story she had never forgotten. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, hope, compassion, forgiveness, and the power of second chances, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. In the city of Chicago, Illinois, life had become an endless uphill climb for a single father named Nathan Carter. At 38 years old, Nathan spent every day trying to balance survival and fatherhood. 3 years earlier, his wife, Rebecca, had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise their 8-year-old son, Caleb. The grief never truly disappeared, but there was little time to sit with sorrow when rent was due, groceries were running low, and a child depended on him. Nathan had once worked as a skilled machine technician at a manufacturing company. He was respected, hardworking, and proud of his ability to provide for his family. But when the factory closed during an economic downturn, hundreds of workers lost their jobs overnight. Nathan searched tirelessly for new opportunities. Months turned into years. Temporary jobs came and went. Savings disappeared. Bills piled up. Each rejection letter felt heavier than the one before. Despite everything, Nathan never allowed Caleb to feel the full weight of their struggles. Every evening he helped with homework, attended school events, and found creative ways to make ordinary moments feel special. Sometimes dinner was simple, but Nathan always served it with a smile. Sometimes he skipped meals himself so Caleb could have seconds. To his son, he remained a hero. One cold autumn morning, Nathan noticed a job posting at a massive corporate headquarters owned by one of the country's fastest-growing technology companies. The position was for a janitor. The pay was modest, but it included health insurance and stable hours. Nathan did not hesitate. Pride could not feed a child. He carefully ironed his only dress shirt, borrowed a tie from a neighbor, and traveled downtown for the interview. The headquarters towered above the city skyline, its glass exterior reflecting the clouds overhead. Walking through the lobby, Nathan felt invisible among the executives and professionals moving through the building. Yet he reminded himself why he was there. This was not about status. This was about providing a future for Caleb. While waiting in the reception area, Nathan noticed photographs lining the walls. They celebrated the company's founder and CEO, a billionaire entrepreneur named Victoria Hayes. Her success story was legendary. She had built the company from almost nothing and transformed it into a national powerhouse. Nathan glanced briefly at the pictures before returning his attention to the paperwork. Upstairs, Victoria was reviewing final hiring approvals when she noticed the janitorial application. Normally she would never see such documents, but a staffing manager had forwarded it because something about the applicant's background stood out. When Victoria read the name Nathan Carter, memories she had buried for nearly 20 years suddenly came rushing back. As a teenager growing up in a struggling neighborhood of Cleveland, Victoria had experienced a frightening period after her father lost his job. Her family faced eviction. Money was scarce. Hope was fading. One snowy evening, while working a part-time shift at a grocery store, she accidentally damaged expensive equipment. The manager demanded repayment she could never afford. Terrified and ashamed, she believed her future had been ruined. Then a maintenance technician working nearby stepped forward. The young man's name was Nathan Carter. He quietly paid for the damages from his own paycheck and refused to accept repayment. He simply told her that everyone deserves a chance to recover from a mistake. That single act of kindness changed everything. Victoria kept her job, finished school, earned scholarships, and eventually built the company she now led. She had searched for Nathan years ago but never found him. Now his application sat on her desk. Victoria immediately requested that Nathan be brought upstairs. When he entered the executive conference room, he looked nervous and confused. Years had changed both of them, but Victoria recognized him instantly. Nathan, however, did not recognize the billionaire standing before him. As Victoria shared the story from long ago, Nathan listened quietly. At first he struggled to remember the moment. For him, it had been a small act of kindness performed without expectation. But for Victoria, it had become the turning point of her life. Tears filled her eyes as she explained how one person's compassion had created opportunities she never imagined possible. Nathan sat speechless. After years of rejection, hardship, and feeling forgotten, he was hearing that his goodness had mattered more than he ever knew. Victoria could have simply offered him the janitorial position. Instead, she spent hours learning about his experience and skills. She discovered his extensive technical background, leadership abilities, and years of manufacturing expertise. By the end of the meeting, she offered Nathan a role overseeing facility operations across several company locations, complete with training, benefits, and a salary that would transform his family's future. That evening, Nathan returned home carrying the news. Caleb ran to the door as usual. For the first time in years, Nathan cried tears of relief instead of worry. The future that had seemed impossible was suddenly within reach. Months later, Nathan thrived in his new position. Caleb flourished in school. Their small apartment was eventually replaced by a comfortable home filled with laughter and stability. Yet the greatest reward was not financial. It was the reminder that kindness is never wasted, even when no one is watching. Before we reach the end, share your thoughts in the comments and tell us about a moment when someone's kindness changed your life. Your story might inspire someone reading it today. Several years later, during a company celebration, Victoria publicly honored Nathan's impact on her life. Standing before thousands of employees, she explained that the company's success began long before its first office or first investor. It began with a stranger who chose compassion over convenience and generosity over judgment. If this story touched your heart, please support the video by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement helps spread messages of hope and encouragement to people who may need them most right now. Nathan's journey proved that dignity is not defined by a job title, and true wealth is not measured by money alone. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the seed of a miracle years later. And sometimes, when life seems determined to close every door, the good we once gave to the world quietly finds its way back home.